What's good, everybody? It's your boy Dre, back with another episode of Dre's State of Mind. But this time, I was like, you know what? Let me try my second video format. My second video podcast thing that's going on. And I think the first one that I did was probably back in 2021 or 2022, something like that. So I decided I'm going to try this again. The video format of this podcast will be on Spotify because that's how they do it if you upload it on Anchor, since Anchor was purchased by Spotify and things of that nature. So I decided, let's try something different. So this is what we're doing. I got my iPhone, I got my ring light, you know what I'm saying? Got my lapel mic, so hopefully the audio is coming in good. And man, so we just gonna get into it. So I just happened to be, scouring the internet because I was doing some things on the computer, and through AOL I actually saw like something that was like really wild to me. So it says Hershey responds to backlash over Women's Day campaign featuring trans activists. So apparently, I guess like some people from the right were actually upset with Hershey. Like pretty much, I'm trying to pull up the article right now, but so it says last week, Hershey, Canada announced the release of limited edition chocolate bars featuring the likenesses of 5 Canadian women working to build a better future through their passion, activism, and work in their communities. Among the 5 were Faye Johnstone, a trans woman, and two SLGBTQ plus activists. It's a trans woman and 2S standing for Two Spirit and Two Spirited. No, Two Spirit or Two Spirited, referring to non-binary gender designation associated with some indigenous North American peoples. So that's something I learned right now. I didn't know that existed, like Two Spirited or Two Spirit, referring to non-binary gender designation associated with some indigenous North American peoples. Did not know that. So Hershey has received both support and the inclusion of Johnstone and condemnation from online users. Me personally, like I keep saying before, I don't understand why people are so, uncomfortable with, people like with transgender people, or just gay people or homosexual people, lesbians or whoever. Like, I don't understand, like, it just seems like if it's different from the norm, put quotation marks on there for people who can't see the video, but like the norm, like I don't understand. Like it's like what Nas has said in Hate Me Now. He said, what was it? People hate what they can't understand. No, people fear what they can't understand. Hate, I forgot how the line goes, but it's the general gist. Like people, like they just fucking, like they don't like it or they hate it. And it's just for lack of understanding. It's lack for better of understanding. And they don't want to try to understand, like something that's different from them. And that's a form of ignorance. It's a form of bigotry. And like it's crazy, like, to me. Like, the people are so fucking closed-minded, and then they get mad over a whole bunch of shit. Like, that's not even really fucking, it's not a big deal at all. And people are like, oh, well, they're trying to force the gay agenda on our children and everything like that. Children have no idea what the fuck is going on unless you actually point it out to them. Now, there might be some children who are, they're smarter than the average child or whatever. But pretty much like seeing this and seeing ads, seeing commercials, seeing gay representation in movies, film, and things of that nature. Like, y'all trying to act like, like, gay people don't exist, trans people don't exist. Like, they do. They're very much here. And some of them are in your family that you probably don't fuck with, which is wild to me. Like, I thought blood was thicker than water, but unless, you're different from the from the norm, from the rest of the other people that's in the family, like, you know, that shit don't fly. So, like, shit is just fucking, it's wild to me. So, people who are mad over this ad is just, it's fucking, like, it's hilarious to me. Says many Twitter users responding to John Stone's post were congratulatory, sharing messages of support for John Stone's efforts towards trans inclusivity. I think I pronounced that right. And representation. Others, meanwhile, claim that they would no longer support Hershey. So you're not going to eat a chocolate bar. You're not going to eat chocolate from Hershey's because they included transgender people, like a transgender person in their ad, trying to, you know, support, inclusive, just trying to be inclusive. I messed that shit up, but you know what I'm saying? That word is kicking my ass. But yeah, just trying to be inclusive for everybody. Just, you know, trying to, I mean, like, but that's the thing. Like, I don't understand, like, people, people make my head hurt, man. Like, they really do. People make my head hurt because it's just like, you know, whenever, you know, I'm a black person, as you can clearly see on the video if you're watching this on Spotify. But yeah, pretty much I'm a black guy, and you know, when we're talking about all you know, Black Lives Matter and everything like that, like, there's always someone that always tries to come with some counter bullshit, like, oh, all lives matter. But if all lives matter, then why are you mad that they're including transgender people? So my whole thing is, all right, one, all lives matter is just, you know, some white shit. And then two, it doesn't include, like, you know, gay white people. It doesn't include trans white people, like, nothing. Like, non-binary, it doesn't include none of them. Like, you just gotta be the norm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a straight heterosexual person in order for your life to matter. So, because they're out here, you know, still, you know, killing transgender people at an alarming rate, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand the hate. I don't understand the hate that's going around. So it says others, you know, like I said, others claim that they would no longer support Hershey because of John Stone's inclusion into the campaign. Amy Kramer, the co-founder of Women for Trump, claimed the campaign was quote unquote disgusting and called for a boycott of Hershey's chocolate. That's fucking wild. That's wild to me, yo. That's really fucking wild. Other critics, many of whom identified as conservative in their Twitter biographies, appeared to claim that they too would be giving up the company's products in response to John Stone's inclusion. That's really wild. So some allege that the campaign was offensive to women in general. It's offensive to women in general, but most of these dudes out here, they don't fucking respect women in the first place. Like, they look at women as property. So if you look at most of these conservatives, and like, shit, there's a whole bunch of dudes like out here that they barely even respect women. So it's like, how is this offensive to women? Unless this is like actual like conservative women. But then the conservative women are actually women who actually vote against their own best interests. So this shit, like I said, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, these conservatives are wild and they need to get their heads checked out. And if this offends you, I don't give a fuck. So, would you go boycott my shit? There's only like 5 to 8 people that watch or listen to my shit anyway. So I don't give a fuck. But anyway, over the past 3 years, our Women's History Month programming has been an inclusive celebration of women and their impact. We appreciate the countless people and meaningful partnerships behind these efforts, the company wrote in a message shared on Instagram. So it says the Hershey company shared the same statement in an emailed response to Nexstar. I don't know who the fuck Next Star is, but it says John Stone responded, but it was more directed. But it directly addressed, more directly addressed the far right critics she considered considered a threat to trans rights. So it says the reaction the action to my inclusion as a trans woman in Hershey's Canada IWD, International Women's Day campaign shows just how far we still have to go in the fight for feminist liberation and trans rights. She wrote in a Twitter thread discussing the backlash. I am not going anywhere. I'm not shutting up. I will always stand up for women and girls, cis and trans. So, hey, y'all can try to, bully her or, she's not going to fold. And that's what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you fully believe in something and you believe in it wholeheartedly, you should always go hard. Always go hard at it, no matter what the opposition is. Like, motherfuckers have died for this shit. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to die for what you believe in, there's no better way to go out. Even though you shouldn't have to go out like that, but, because of stupid ass people. But it is what it is, man. Like, this shit is fucking ridiculous. Like, people are really mad at Hershey. I'm trying to close this thing out. Really mad at Hershey just because, like, they included a transgender woman in their campaign. So that's really wild to me. I just really can't get over the closed-mindedness of people. Like, people never cease to amaze me like that. Let me just put it that way. Like, shit is ridiculous. Now, for something I saw yesterday, Alex Murdaugh, he was actually sentenced to 2 life terms for the double murder of his wife and son. Now, I'm be completely honest with you. I don't know what the hell. Like, I don't know when this shit happened, or I've never even heard of this dude. But, like, how the hell do you kill, like, your wife and son? Like, so, Judge Clifton Newman sentenced disgraced South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh to 2 consecutive life sentences for the murders of his wife and son Friday, less than 24 hours after a jury found Murdaugh guilty in the 2021 slayings of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. So this happened like 2 years ago. I wasn't even paying attention. I barely watch the news anyway, so I got to keep up with my current events. But Newman told Murdaugh that each of the punishments apply to the rest of your natural life, adding the sentence, not that the sentences are consecutive. The judge announced the punishment after Murdaugh briefly addressed the court. Good morning, Your Honor. I am innocent, Murdaugh said. I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, or would never hurt my son, Paul. I wonder what this... Oh, his name is Paul, right? Yeah, Paul. Paul, thank you. Murdaugh will appeal the conviction. Yo, this man's name is wild. His defense attorney is Dick Hartputlian. What kind of fucking name? Yo, he definitely got a defense attorney name. But yeah, like, all right. So the court session began shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern time. Newman had said he would render his sentence after any victim impact statements. But prosecutor Creighton Waters began his remarks by saying that the state did not have anyone who wanted to deliver a victim statement. So it says the depravity, the callousness, the selfishness of these crimes are stunning, Waters said, adding that Murdaugh continued to lie and show no remorse. So I'm not sure, like, how did he actually kill them? All right, so after a trial that spanned 28 days, it took the Colleton County jury only a few hours to agree unanimously that Murdaugh is guilty of 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of using a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. So jurors found Murdaugh, who's age 54, guilty of using a shotgun to kill his son Paul, who was 22, and using a rifle to kill his wife, Maggie, who was 52. Yo, this motherfucker is wild. On the night of June 7th, 2021, at the family's Moselle hunting estate in the rural area about 60 miles inland from Charleston, South Carolina. The sentencing closes a 6-week-long trial that charted Murdaugh's fall from grace. Murdaugh, who was born into power and privilege as the scion of a prominent family of lawyers and prosecutors, has been disbarred. I would assume that he will be disbarred if he's doing life in prison. He also faces dozens of other criminal charges over financial crimes, which nobody really gives a fuck about those charges anyway. They're just gonna add them shits on. So my man ain't getting out anyway. Some of which he admitted to during the trial. So he already admitted that he's guilty on them other shits. But he was like, killing my family? Nah. I'm innocent on that. But as far as the other shit, I did that. But I ain't killed my family. His defense team, or Murdaugh himself. Hold up. So he had a relative defend him too on the defense team? Murdaugh himself. Oh, defense team and Murdaugh himself. I'm sorry, I read that shit wrong. When he took the stand in his own defense, insisted he was innocent, depicting him as a caring father and husband who succumbed to a severe opiate addiction that led him to drain his bank accounts, rack up debt, and steal money from his law firm. No, you just a sociopath, my guy. And you just try to paint yourself as a victim. So he's like a classic sociopath. It sounds to me like he's a classic sociopath, and he's not trying to take accountability for his actions. Now, most sociopaths do, and pretty much you can lie to yourself and pretty much convince yourself that you didn't do what you did, even though you did the crime. No matter how big it is or how small it is, if you convince yourself long enough, you will eventually believe yourself. You will believe your own lies. And there's people out here who, there's motherfuckers that be fronting on fucking social media and lying their ass off, but they lied so much to themselves that they believe that shit. Shit is wild. So prosecutors said Murdaugh killed his wife and son to serve his own ends after siphoning millions of dollars away from his colleagues and his clients. He was facing a financial reckoning, they said, and he also included his liability in court in a court case over a fatal 2019 boating accident in which Paul, then 19, was said to be driving. So, yeah, Murdaugh lied. No, he admitted to lying to investigators about his alibi, blaming his shifting version of events on paranoia stemming from his addiction, but he maintained that he did not kill his wife and son. This motherfucker might have been high as shit when he killed his wife and son. What was he on? Let me go back into he was on opioids. So yeah. He could have been so high that he didn't even realize that he did the shit, or he just forgot that shit. But more than likely, this motherfucker did that shit. And if they got evidence and all that shit, stacked against him, dog, you lying to yourself. You need to, atone for your actions. You lock the fuck up and just, be held accountable for what you did. And some of these people out here in this world, they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. They just want to keep on living life nothing happened. And nah, you definitely got to atone for your actions. So yeah, that shit is wild. Said he's gonna try to appeal it, but more than likely he's not gonna win that shit unless they have they find some new evidence that exonerates this guy. Nah, you're definitely going to spend the rest of your natural life in jail. Now, going into I guess like some sporting news. What's been going on for like the past couple off seasons, which is annoying the shit out of me, and I wish this motherfucker would just retire. Aaron Rodgers, the Aaron Rodgers saga with Green Bay Packers. It says about the Green Bay Packers wait patiently on a decision about Aaron Rodgers' future. Teams aren't nearly as patient as they're calling the GM, like they're calling the general manager Brian. I guess it's Gunts, whatever his name is, to inquire about the star quarterback's availability. So teams are still reaching out, but I guess like everybody is waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like, fam, like the world does not revolve around you, and other people are trying to figure out their future in the NFL while waiting for you. Like this man has become like a fucking drama queen, and he's like actually worse of a drama queen than his actual predecessor, Brett Favre. So pretty much like, the whole Brett Favre saga, like this motherfucker, he retired, and then he changed his mind and came back, and then Green Bay was like, nah, cuz like we moving on with Aaron Rodgers, and they traded his ass to the Jets. He played for the Jets for like a season. They didn't make the playoffs. I believe they failed to make the playoffs. They were eliminated from postseason contention, I believe, at the last week of that season. Then he left the Jets, went to Minnesota for like 2 more seasons. Took Minnesota to the NFC Championship game. He threw some stupid ass interception. No, he was there for 3 years, I think, something like that. Because like he ended up retiring, I think like 5 games into like the following season. But pretty much like Aaron Rodgers could possibly be following the same route. But he's just trying to figure out, I guess, like, if he's going to, continue to play, or is he going to retire? And then if he does continue to play, more than likely it's not going to be in Green Bay, because reports are that they're ready to move on with Jordan Love, to finally see what they have in him, because they drafted him like 3 years ago, and their time is running out on his contract. So they're trying to figure out what's going on with him. So pretty much, Aaron Rodgers, your time is pretty much up in Green Bay. I would be shocked if he actually comes back to Green Bay. But people keep trying to put him in a Jets uniform. He'd probably make the Jets better, because he's better than any fucking quarterback that's on the Jets roster right now, which is Zach Wilson. I think Joe Flacco is a free agent, and Mike White. I think Mike White and Zach White, Zach White? Is it Zach Wilson? I think those two are the only quarterbacks that's left on the roster, so he would actually be better than them. They do have a young core, so he could possibly make them good, but it's just like are you showing up to OTAs to work with the young receivers, or are you just going to be a diva and just show up during training camp, or just try to avoid training camp at all and then just show up at the regular show up to the facility at the first week of the season or something like that, and have no rapport with your receivers. So yeah, like I said, like this man has turned into a whole diva. This nigga went to a whole darkness retreat, and like the shit is like, I'm like, nigga, my man is like went to a darkness retreat. I'm assuming he was in the dark for I don't know how long, trying to come to a revelation of what he wants to do with his future and all this and that. But I'm like, fam, like I said, other players is trying to figure out, like, you're the big domino that they're waiting to fall so everything else falls into place. And you're taking your sweet ass time, like trying to figure out what you trying to do and all that. Like, the draft is like next month, so. But Green Bay is trying to see, what they're trying to do. So this man is like actually holding the franchise hostage a little bit, and I think it's just like a selfish act, really. And it's like, for a player as great as he is, he's pretty much like, he's going out sad for me, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, he's going out sad. But yeah, man. So pretty much that's gonna be it for right now. I just wanted to try something different, try something new, and just do another video episode and see how this goes. So yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed this. If you want to see any more video, episodes, leave it in the content, leave it in the comments, because there should be like a little message thing that's going to be at the bottom of wherever you listen to, the podcast. So there should be a little link that you can click on. You can leave a voicemail message, and pretty much, let me know how you think this episode was. And as usual, everybody stay safe out there. Continue to move forward in your life. Strive for positivity, strive for greatness, and like always, be supportive, support your peoples, and they'll probably support you back. But that's it. I hope everybody had a good day. Well, I hope everybody has a good day. And everybody, let's go ahead and get it. It's your boy Dre, and I'm out.